Hey guys, this is Adam. I am a trans man. I've been on testosterone for 6.5 years. Um, Basically, I've been wanting to make this video for about 3 years now, and the reason I wanted to do it was because I struggled really hard to get any information on bottom surgeries, like none. 3 years ago, believe it or not, it was a lot different than it is right now. Um, I mean, now I've seen like a few guys on YouTube talking about bottom surgeries and their experience, and I think that's really awesome. And I think more people should talk about their experience and what they've gone through because he used different doctors, different techniques, different experiences. So we gotta get the information out there. So yeah, anyway, so in 2015, I really struggled to find information to help me pick the right um, the right place to get the right place to choose. Was it whether it was my forearms or my legs or my stomach, any of that stuff. Um, and yeah, I think I was shocked um, in what I think I would have liked to know some things. Not that it would have changed my mind, but I think it would have been nice to know it in advance, to know what to expect. I think it would have helped me prepare mentally better and just deal with it a little bit better. So I think if I can give someone a piece of the cake that I ate, think that would be great. So I've basically had my top surgery and all my bottom surgeries. And in this video, I'm not gonna talk about my first stage or the first stage of my bottom surgery, and that was creating the phallus. Before I talk about the site that I chose and all of that, I was just gonna say that I'm based in Scotland, and my surgeon was Dr. Christopher, aka the London team, and I've had all my surgeries down in London. All of them were in London, but they were all in different hospitals. And my first surgery was in Slough. It was a private hospital. It was really, really nice. Can't remember what it's called, but I think it was the only private hospital there. Um, so yeah, just meeting with Dr. Christopher, he suggested that I could have the forearm, I could have my stomach, the lower side of my stomach, and I could have this bit under my armpits, my backside. So yeah, I went away and I tried to read about them all to see which one I really want. And fair to say that I really didn't like the backside one because one, I didn't really see a lot of results on it. Two, it just didn't seem like it was something for me. I didn't want scars on my torso anymore. Like after my top surgery with the two scars, I was like, that's enough for me. I don't really want any big obvious thing on my torso anymore. So yeah, so that was out of the question. And then I thought about the stomach one, and I remember what Dr. Christopher said, that you are guaranteed to get 50% sensation on the bottom half of the phallus. So there's a 50 chance that you won't get any sensation on the top side. I mean, like he said, you get a good size and everything, but it's just sensation is more guaranteed in the bottom side than it is in half side, the upper side. And to be honest, again, I didn't want anything with my upper body again. It seemed like if I had a big scar in the bottom there, it would have looked like my torso would have looked like a smiley face, with the two scars here and one down there. So yeah, pretty much really didn't want that either. And there was one last thing that the doctor didn't actually suggest, but I had read about online, and that was the thigh. and I really liked that one. That was the one that I really wanted. I wanted to use my thigh. It just seemed very convenient, you know. It's really kind of out of the way. You won't see it unless you wear like really short shorts or something, you know. Yeah, it just kind of really seemed out of the way. And I've read like a couple of cases in the US where they had it and the sensations were like amazing, and I was like, right, okay, well that seems pretty awesome. So I've saw Dr. Christopher again. I was like, well, what about, you know, the thigh? You never mentioned that. And he was like, well, we don't actually do this technique, but let me see. And he was like, let me see your thigh. And he saw my thigh and he kind of drew on it a little bit and said, right, okay, well, if you choose your thigh, it's going to be this long. And basically this long was pretty massive, like pretty massive. Um, and he said because of my fat content on my thigh, it would be pretty thick as well, pretty thick for penetration. It would just be a really huge penis, and this is the last thing that I wanted. I know like the world is talking about big penises and all, but all I want is an average thing that just average looks pretty much like everyone else, and I just that would make me really happy. I don't want something out of the ordinary. I just want something that is average and looks pretty average, you know. But that obviously is different, you know, because every trans man wants something different with their surgery, and that's absolutely okay. But this is like my experience. So, sorry, my nose is blocked. Um, so yeah, so that kind of left me with my arm, which I actually did not want at all. Like I really didn't want. It just I was scared, obviously, of the risks of, you know, losing your arm and all of that, and obviously the big scar as well. I was like, oh, I don't really want that, but that was my choice. That was the best thing for me. Um, so yeah, I pretty much went down with that. The doctor suggested that I should eat, should gain weight because my forearms are a bit skinny. And he was like, I mean, it's fine, we can do it with the fat content on your arm, but that will just result in a really skinny phallus. And if that's what you want, then that's okay. But if you want it a bit thicker, you should eat. And you know, it's pretty hard to gain weight on your arms. And I mean, my arms are not really that skinny. I mean, it's hard to see here. You're not gonna see it. It's not that skinny. It's got like, anyway. Yeah, I was eating like ice cream and all kinds of sweet, anything, you know, because I had only 2 months, and I was like, right, well, you know, we gotta eat shit to gain weight. But I mean, your forearms is not really one of the first parts in your body to gain weight. I mean, I gained weight on my face, on my tummy, and all that, but never on my forearms, or maybe ever so slightly. I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it was, you know, that was the way it was. Um, and yeah, and then surgery time came, and now I'm going to speak about hospitals, my experience in hospital in Slough. So I pretty much arrived on Friday night around 7 p.m. Actually, it was 8 p.m. I didn't see the point of arriving really early because I think they ask you to arrive at 6 p.m., but I arrived at 8 p.m. And they take tests, and you know, they speak to you about what's going to happen, you know, the morning after, what you should expect and all that stuff. Yeah, you just wake up. You're gonna wake up like really early, about 6 or something. They're gonna ask you to shower and put some cream for your nostrils and stuff like that, and that's like to kill bacteria. Um, and yeah, and you're just gonna about 8 o'clock. I was dozed off. Um, I didn't need to shave anything. They kind of do it all for you. So yeah, you don't really need to worry. They kind of just take care of everything. Um, yeah, I was dozed off about 8 in the morning, and I woke up about 6 p.m. So that was like I mean, I would not all of it was surgery. Most of it was like some of it was probably like shaving and stuff and just prepping, I think. But all in all, I was dozed off for a very long time, 10 hours, just maybe a little over 10 hours, I think. Yeah. And upon waking up, that was one of my least favorite experiences because apparently one of the side effects of anesthesia is the anesthesia. You know what I mean. The One of the side effects is uncontrollable shaking or seizure or something like that. Like I woke up and my body was shaking and moving rapidly and vigorously, really, really fast. It was just really painful. I obviously had my arm, you know, just operated on, and it was like kind of hanged up like that. And I had like my groin, obviously, where the phallus was, where it was operated on, and I had my arse as well because they took a graft from my butt to put on my arm, and I had staples there. So let me explain a little bit about that. So when they take a graft from your arms, they take it from the end of your cheek, like the bottom of your cheek, like where your cheeks are like that. This is gonna be really hard to explain, but it's yeah, the end. And I thought it was from the side, like the start of the cheek from the side, and like down until it meets the other cheek. But actually, I was wrong. It actually goes all the way in where your testicles would be. So it pretty much takes full circle in, and yeah, they take, and it's like a line. That's basically what they take. It's a line, and they staple it. So you're gonna have like little staples all around. So many gonna be on each butt. Um, and I had that. So pretty much jigging vigorously. It was pretty painful. I was already in pain when I woke up. I was in a lot of pain, and then the shaking happened, and that was horrible. And I just couldn't control it. I couldn't stop it, but I can hear the doctor say, "Oh, this is a side effect. It's normal. Blah blah blah. It's fine." Anyway, he disappeared somewhere, and I was just left with one nurse. And it was kind of in a room where there's like a lot of screens and a lot of machines and stuff. And I think there was someone else beside me, just woke up from a surgery as well. I don't know. But it was like, I think it was the room where you just get out of surgery and get prepped to go somewhere else. The transitioning room, I'll call it. So yeah, the shaking stopped, but I was really like still in a lot of pain, and I was telling the nurse, please, do something because I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm actually very tolerant to pain. Like really, I am. But that was just too much for me. Um, and she was like, all right, okay, well, just give me a few minutes. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. So like she was trying to kind of connect the morphine to my blood so I can kind of pump some painkillers and get that sorted. She was pumping like she was putting other things and connecting other things to my arms as well. She was just doing a lot of stuff. She was like, I promise you're gonna put the morphine, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. And then I was connected and I was given like a button, and basically you press on the button once and it pumps morphine into your body. You can't use it like that all the time. You have to leave a minute between each click, basically. I mean, if you click on it twice within 1 minute, it's not gonna pump anything except once. So it pumps every minute if you click on it every minute. So I pretty much kept clicking that thing every minute, trying to get rid of the pain, but nothing. It was maybe 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I was dying. I was really trying to be patient because she kept saying, you know, hold up, you're gonna be fine. And basically the part that was hurting me the most was my backside, my butt basically. That was like my back and my butt. Just everything in my back was really hurting me more than my arm, hurting me more than groin. It was just really, really bad. And yeah, basically around after maybe 10, 15 minutes maybe, and she was like, oh my god, you know, I forgot to put your bed on, that's why you're in pain. So yeah, my bed was off. So basically when they put your bed on, they can control how it moves. So like the top half where your head is can go like up or down, and then you get the bottom half, like not the bottom, the middle part, and the middle part can kind of go like up like that, and, or can go flat. And when it goes up like that, it takes the pressure off your butt because you're not gonna put all your weight on your butt. Basically, when you sit down, all your weight is on your butt. But this bed moves your leg around and shifts your weight on other parts. So that's what I needed. I needed to shift my weight off my butt. So the bed was on. Here we go. I was feeling a lot better. Just all of a sudden, you know, position changed. I was feeling so much better. And that was good. So if that ever happens to you again, you know, and you take the painkiller and maybe you realize after 5 minutes, ask if your bed is on or not. It will really kind of save you, 10 or 15 minutes of crucial pain. So ask for the bed. If it's on, you're gonna be on it. Just ask if it's on. Yeah, and then you're gonna be transferred to intensive care, and you're gonna be in a room where you are surrounded by a few machines on each side. To be fair, things are gonna be connected to your arm, various things. You're gonna have a catheter in your side, and you're gonna have a catheter down there, and then you're gonna have your penis with a stent in it. You're gonna have a lot going on, which is fine actually, because when I was in intensive care, I was feeling okay. I was starting to wake up properly. The morphine was working really well, so I wasn't really feeling a lot of pain. Um, I was really tired though, so I kept dozing off and going to sleep and waking up and going to sleep and waking up. Um, yeah, and intensive care nurses will check on you every single hour, like on the dot. I kid you not. And that's to check on the heartbeat of your penis, because it's like a newly established blood blood path, blood path, and they need to make sure if the blood is pumping or not every hour. Because if it stopped pumping, then that's a different story, which thankfully never happened to me. My blood was pumping, and that happens for the first day until the next day you're transferred to your normal room, where the one that you slept in the first night. And yeah, I mean, after the intensive care, I was transferred to this second room, my room. I was actually feeling pretty great. I was such in a great mood. I was, laughing. I was just happy, really. I was happy. I was eating a lot. I was just in a really great mood. I wasn't tired or anything. My pain was controllable. It was just great. And you have this button, underneath your fingertips. You click on it whenever you start to feel like anything. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And that, first day was done. Your arm is gonna be up all the time. Um, you're not gonna move. You're not gonna be able to turn or switch positions. You're pretty much on your backside for the entire week, pretty much. But we'll talk about that a bit later. Comes the second day, I was still feeling great. I was still eating. You start getting nurses washing you every morning, which is pretty intrusive, I would say, but you need it, and you're gonna have to go with it. It's like baby wipes, but bigger sizes, and they're just gonna use it and like get your armpits, gonna get all the bits that they can get, your back, even gonna get your butt, and you're just gonna have to stay there and let them do what they need to do, because honestly, the only thing that they want to do is to make you feel happy and comfortable. And you're going to lie in bed for a week, so you need to get cleaned because you are going to get pretty stinky. And I mean, later on, you'll find out from the story that those wives don't do a lot. Anyway, we'll just move on to the third day. And I was starting to feel a little bit down. My tummy was really upset. I haven't been to the toilet for a long time, so I didn't feel like eating all day, just water and teas and stuff. I was just pretty bummed, to be honest. I was feeling slightly down. I was starting to feel a bit stinky as well, but I was like, it's fine. I just hang on, trying to be hopeful. Um, yeah, I asked my partner to get me fruit, a lot of fruit, juicy fruit, not like bananas and stuff, like juicy fruit, like oranges, mandarins, apples, peaches, just any of that stuff that has got loads of water because that's the only thing you're gonna tolerate. That was the only thing I was able to eat. Um, and I'm gonna say, I mean, before your surgery, I would say prepare. Just buy loads of juicy fruit. Even if you don't happen to go through what I went through, still eating a lot of fruit is really, really good. Except because you're gonna be dehydrated. You just had a traumatic surgery. Trust me, you're gonna thank me. Just buy loads of fruit. Um, and then I'm gonna jump to the fourth day. And fourth day was the hardest one for me. I was very constipated, like really, really bad. Um, I haven't moved for 4 days from the same position. I haven't showered for 4 days. And I was told that on the fourth day, I'm going to get up and shower. And I was looking forward to that day. But they told me that they meant tomorrow. They didn't mean 4 days from the surgery. They meant 4 days after the day of surgery. And I, of course, calculated the day of the surgery. And I was wrong. So I was pretty bummed out, like really bummed out. I was looking forward to get cleaned, go to the toilet, walk a little bit, stretch. I was just achy all over, stinky beyond belief. I was just feeling shit. I couldn't eat. Yeah, I was pretty miserable. I went a little bit on the dark side. I started to feel a little bit depressed. I wasn't, couldn't smile. I couldn't think positive. Everything in my head was negative. It's like things like, why did I do this to myself? I was just feeling really bad, and you can only imagine. And this is the part where I think I would have liked to know before I went to surgery, because I didn't really think about all these aspects. And if I was told about them before surgery, I don't think they would have changed my mind because this is the best decision I've ever made in my life. But it's good to be mentally prepared and, to know what's coming because I didn't know. It was kind of like a surprise, a bad surprise. So, yeah, I don't think it should put you off because it's only a couple of days and my story gets a lot better after that, and it's literally the best thing I've ever done. I have never been happier since I've done it. It's just taken a massive weight off my chest since I've done my surgeries. It's just as good to know what's gonna happen. Buy fruit. All that stuff. It's just things that are gonna help. So yeah, I've had this horrible day, very negative. Woke up the next day looking forward to, you know, my walk, finally gonna walk. And I've got a nurse saying, I still think you should wait another day. You're waiting another day. And I was like, no, I am not waiting another day. I was told today was going to be the day and it's going to be the day. I was pretty stubborn. I put my foot down. She was like, you're waiting until tomorrow. And I was like, no, and I really had to put my foot down because I don't think I would have coped really well with the same conditions for another day. I felt like I was ready. I was genuinely ready. And yeah, eventually it was like, right, okay, right, okay, that's fine, that's fine. Um, yeah, so she took my catheter out, the catheter from my side. Was it my side or my groin first? Actually, I think it was my groin first. Yeah. So they took the catheter of my groin that day. That was very painful, like really, really painful. But thankfully, it only lasts for 2 seconds, even 1 second. It just lasts for a really short amount of time. It's like, that's literally how long it lasts. It's that. But that hurts a lot. But, you're gonna survive. It's fine. It's just listen to their instructions. They're gonna tell you to breathe deep and focus on your breathing, and it really does help. I mean, it sounds like a load of shite sometimes, but it really helps. Just do what they tell you. They want what's best for you. Um, so yeah, that was removed. Things from my arm were removed. Oh, actually, the morphine was removed the second day. I was put on pills from the second day because my pain was manageable with that morphine. Just put that there. Yeah. So go back to my story. Took off the catheter, things from my arm, my arm was like put on it's called a cylinder, just hanged up really, and I just took it down. Um, and just getting up from the sleeping position, just getting up, that was pretty hard on its own. It was just felt weird because I haven't done it for so long. You never. I mean, if you're blessed and you're active, then this is pretty, shocking to your body because you never do anything like that. So yeah, helped me try to shift my weight just to sit on the side of the bed so I can put my feet down, and that was also a bit hard because of the staples on your arse. Again, they were my worst nightmare, to be honest with you. They were worse than my groin and my arm. To be fair, they were, yeah. I think they were the hardest part. So yeah, put my feet down. They said, "Be careful. You're gonna be dizzy. You're gonna be down." I was like, "I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling fine." And as soon as I stood up, in a second, I felt a heat wave hitting my spine and sudden sweat, and just I was about I felt like I was about to fall or pass out or something. So I sat down again, took my breath because my heart was like racing. Got myself back together again and was like, right, okay, I'm still doing this. I'm still getting up. And I got up and still felt a bit dizzy. It was hard. I think my arm was too heavy for me to handle. It's way too heavy. Like, you have that thing that goes around your neck and you kind of hold it like that, but it was still far too heavy for my body, far too heavy. And I was like even holding it with my other arm as well, but focusing on holding my arm and my trying to move my body, which I haven't done that for a long time. It was like two impossible tasks for me. So after I started to stand up for the second time, I sat down again and I asked the nurse, "Can you please hold my arm?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, I'll hold your arm." She held my arm and zoop, I was up. Nothing. I was feeling okay, not dizzy, nothing at all. I was just zooming. Well, I wasn't zooming, but I was walking. I was walking fine without any help aside from the nurse holding my arm. But, so when the first nurse was telling me about, you know, how no one, because she told me that, it's too early for you to try stand up. No one can do it, at this time. You're going to be dizzy and you're not going to be able to do it. So you're best waiting until tomorrow. And I think the reason it's hard is because of the arm. The arm is really heavy, and you're not going to understand what I'm saying now, but you'll get it then. Your arm is going to be super heavy, and it's just going to be hard for you to have the weight of your own arm. Only the first couple of hours, you're going to be used to it, but after a couple of hours. But for the first get up from bed, you need someone to support you. So if someone tried to like oppose you, just say, no, I'm gonna do it, just hold my arm and you're gonna be fine. Hold your arm, yeah. Anyway, I walked to the shower. It's like a shower room. I had to sit on a chair naked, having my arm like hanged out like that. And two nurses washed my body. Very intrusive again. Um, yes, really, really uncomfortable. Like really uncomfortable. I hated it. But at this point in time, you're gonna be like super stinky. Those baby wipes don't do anything. They just make you like smell nice for a few minutes, but it all goes down. They don't really remove the sweat or anything. Or the blood, you're gonna have dried blood on you. So those wipes that you have, not gonna do a lot. So you're gonna need this shower and you're just gonna sit through it and put your pride and your dysphoria or whatever else aside because this is needed. And to be honest, yeah, I was uncomfortable and all of that, but I was like, I'm getting clean. That was my focus. I'm getting clean and I'm gonna feel better. That was all my focus, and that's probably gonna be your focus as well. Right, yeah, so I finished. I went back to my room. I was pretty clean. I was feeling a lot better. I asked for relaxative. Um, Drank loads of teas and coffees, and here we go. It was time for me to go to the bathroom. Um, wasn't an easy one, I would say. It wasn't. It was pretty painful. It was pretty hard, but I didn't mind. I was just glad that was happening. Took me about like half an hour, 45 minutes. But it was done. I'd done it. I was feeling great, and I was like, "Give me food now. I want to eat." Um, so yeah, pretty much that was things that was starting. I was starting to feel better mentally about how things were going. Um, Also to just realize that I never really spoke about the arm a lot. So yeah, I'll just talk about the arm. When I woke up, I was terrified because again, as I told you, I was scared of losing my arm because also I'm a smoker. So I was like, oh, I'm scared. Anyway, as soon as I woke up and dealt with my pain, first thing I thought to do was to see if I can feel my fingers or my arm, anything. And pretty much my arm was covered from here. It was covered from here down. So all I can see were my fingers. And they were like that. They were like crunched like that. It was weird. Like it was like that. I don't know if you can see that, but it was something like that. And I just tried to feel my fingers and I did something like that. Like a really sudden, so slight move. And obviously I moved my fingers. I was like, hey, I haven't lost my arm. That's fine. Um, so I think after 2 days or after a day, something like that, you see a physiotherapist. They come and visit your room when you're lying down, and they're gonna tell you that you should try to move your fingers, as much as you can. Just try to feel it, even if you can't do much, even if that's all you can do. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Keep reconnecting that mind-body connection again. That's really important. And they're going to talk to you about your legs because lying down increases the risks of getting a blood clot in your leg, and that's really, really bad because it will travel to your heart and you can have like a heart attack or something like that. So that's a big risk. So what they do is they put obviously devices around your leg that kind of pumps your blood, but also they advise you to kind of move and squeeze your toes and try to bend your legs, move them ever so slightly. Just do anything that you can do, that you're able to do without pain. I advise you to do that. Exercises. And I was doing them all the time. I would watch TV and try to stretch my legs, stretch my toes, just squeeze my toes like that, just to pump the blood in them. Just all day, literally. My arm, I would do this, try as much as I can. Obviously, I didn't have this flexibility, but I would just do all the things that I can do. And slowly but surely, I was gaining more control and flexibility over my hand. So, you know, don't just leave it until it's done and then you work on it. Don't be, yeah, don't for take care of yourself. keep working on these things. They're really, really important, really important. I think there were important steps to get me where I am, because my arm and my fingers and the flexibility of my arm is great, and it's just as strong as my other arm. So it's, but I'll get to that. So yeah, back to the day when I started moving, things happened. Well, like after I moved and showered, I was pretty knackered. So I think I went for a nap, and then I had my toilet, and I felt like going for another walk. So I went for another walk, holding my own arm. So I was feeling pretty okay. And that's pretty much what I was doing for the 2 or 3 days later. Days after, I was just walking all the time by my own. I didn't really wait for anyone to take me for a walk. I was just getting up. Even like I remember the day when I couldn't sleep. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I just got up and started walking in the lobby. That's what I did. I felt like okay walking by myself. I didn't feel like I was, I was using the wall as well. Um, so you can do these. Keep walking, keep walking. That's you know lying down for a long time is really, really bad for your body, like incredibly. This is something that I knew for years. Lying down for a long time is really bad for you. So move as much as you can, stretch, bend, just do whatever. I remember even the night before the day I leave, I even went to the staircase, and I took the stairs on my own. I just wanted to see how I was gonna, how I was taking the stairs, because obviously that was the night before I leave. So I wanted to see how I was gonna cope in the next morning, how I was gonna walk and take stairs and stuff. And I was fine. I was really fine. I think my body was pretty used to walking at this point, that, didn't really like, stairs weren't like a big deal for me at this point. So yeah, just keep walking. I really advise you to do that. Keep walking. Nap. You feel tired, nap it out, and then go back and walk. It's only like a 5 minute, 10 minute walk. It's not a big deal. Um, yeah, and then after that, you're gonna take showers by yourself. You're gonna eat better. Obviously, after you empty your bowels, you're gonna eat better. Things are gonna improve drastically. Also the last day or the day before you leave, they're gonna remove your dressings, and you're gonna see your arm for the first time, and it's not gonna look great. It's gonna look black, and it looks pretty scary, and they're gonna tell you that, but this is normal, and that's also, they're gonna tell you that it's pretty normal for any graft to look this dark. Yeah, they changed the dressings, and basically said that this is, you're gonna need to change the dressing every single week. Probably your local GP is gonna do that, and that was fine. You're gonna walk with, and they're gonna take the other catheter from your side out as well. It doesn't hurt as much as the other one, which is great. And you're gonna be left with your penis and a stent in it. Also, your penis is gonna need to be elevated to 45 degrees, because it can go down like that. Apparently, that's something really bad for the blood flow or something, and the swelling as well. The swelling is going to be pretty swelled up, so it needs to be elevated a little bit. So you're gonna have loads of paddings around your penis, and when you leave, you're still gonna have the paddings. You're meant to have it elevated like that for 2 weeks after you leave. So you can wear jeans, you can wear normal trousers. You gotta need to have like stretchy joggers, And when you do wear it, it's gonna look like you have a hard on, like I am for real. It's gonna look, your groin is gonna look like a massive pyramid. It's gonna look awful. And I was pretty lucky. We were in December, and I had a coat on me, and that pretty much saved my life, because I don't know what I would have done walking in the middle of London with something like that. That would have been scary for other people. So yeah, I was lucky enough to have it in September, and I wore a coat. This is something also to think about. Even if you're gonna take it in summer, if you can tolerate a coat, go for it. I had my surgery 2 weeks before Christmas, or 10 days before Christmas actually, and I'm gonna touch on that later. Anyway, a week passed, and I'm back in the house. I traveled down from London to Scotland, which wasn't easy, but I did do it, and it was great. It was fine. Um, it's a bit painful, a bit tiring, but you get there, you'll do it. You just don't realize how strong you are, but you're gonna be able to do all this stuff. And I went home. A week later, it was time for me to change the dressings on my arms. So I saw my local nurse, and they changed it. It was fine. And then 2 days later, and that would have been no, it was Boxing Day maybe, or the day after, something like that. I was sitting in my living room and I smelled this really horrible smell, and I was like, whoa, where is this coming from? Asking my partner Tony, is like, the garbage, is it smelly or something? It's like, she was like, no, it's garbage, it's fine, I just changed it. I was like, but is it the couch? And it started to smell like the couch and stuff. And is it the couch? No, it's not the couch. Is it the carpet? It's not the carpet. Where the hell this smell is coming from? I don't know, do I smell in my groin and stuff and seeing if it's me, my armpits and stuff? No, it's not me. Right, that's fine. And then actually maybe about a couple of hours later, I've done something with my arm and I just got a whiff of that smell from my arm. I was like, oh my God, it's my arm. My arm smells really, really rank. It was rotting basically. I called the 24-hour line NHS thing, and they said, "Oh, you should go see your out-of-hours GP because everything is pretty closed." I was like, "Right, okay." I went to see them. They said, "Yeah, it's infected. It's rotten. It's infected." I've seen it as well. It was pretty slimy. It was looked really, really horrible. Yeah, and the smell, and it was itchy, and it was warm. It was just shit. They said, yeah, it's infected. We're gonna take a swab to see what kind of bacteria it is, to give you the right antibiotics. But for now, here is 2 antibiotics just in case it gets worse, because when it gets worse, that means that the bacteria is eating your graft. And indeed they did. I took the wrong antibiotics. They didn't do anything to me. They actually caused hallucination and depression, and they just made me feel really bad. And I had to wait 5 days to get the test results. Why, you say? Because it was holiday time. So 5 days later, my arm was pretty much, a bit of my graft was pretty much eaten away. Like, seriously. The smell was 10 times worse. Like, I can just smell it. Even if my arm is far, far away, I can still smell it pretty strong. It was horrible. That was also a bad time, in my surgery, or after my surgery. It was one of the bad experiences. But yeah, the GP opened. I found out about my test results. They gave me the right antibiotics, and they put like iodine, iodine kind of gauze, or iodine, I don't know, things that stick on your arm, and they pretty much like antibacterial, and they were helping with the smell, and they were killing the bacteria alongside my antibiotics. So things were pretty peachy after that. My arm was starting to heal, and that was fine. But the problem is that because it was pretty late when I took the right antibiotics, a good chunk of my graft was eaten away. So I'll show you. I'm not sure if you're gonna see the difference, but see this bit here, it kind of looks weird. All this bit was eaten away. I don't know, you can see that because it's different from this side. Well, actually, little bits were eaten away here as well. So like the biggest part was here. That was the biggest part, and then I got like little dark bits around here, and they were like little spots that were eaten away, and you could literally see my flesh. It was just red flesh that you can see. There was nothing covering it. So that pretty much prolonged my recovery time. It jumped to 10 or 11 weeks. Um, and yeah, I had to go down to London to see the doctors down there to check on my graft because it was looking really, really bad. And they just said you're gonna need to wait on your own skin, not graft, your own skin to grow and cover this flesh. So you're gonna keep it wrapped up for longer, and you're gonna need to wait longer for it to heal. Um, but yeah, that was okay. I mean, that was the end of it. I would suggest, so the solution to this, the only reason it was a horrible experience was because of the holidays. Because if it was found out what it is, or super fast, I would have taken the antibiotics and none of this would have happened. So if you happen to have any kind of sign of smell, blood pain, anything during the holiday period, just go to emergency room, because they're gonna take tests and get results in like a couple hours and pretty much tell you there and then what's going on and give you the right medicine straight away. Yeah, always go to emergency if it's holiday period. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was a horrible experience at the time, but actually it wasn't really horrible. Like compared to other stories that I've read online, I was actually pretty okay. Um, so that was in terms of my arm. I will speak about the challenges that I've had with living with one arm. So basically, thankfully, because I have two arms, I never really had to experience any hardship really, and you kind of realize how useful your arms are when you lose one. And this is gonna sound really weird, but you kind of take them for granted. So the simplest tasks like putting toothpaste on your toothbrush, or trying to cut something, like when you eat, it's like a fighting mess when you eat. It's pretty hard to put things on with one hand. But if you keep stretching, so pretty much by the time I was home, I was able to have a full fist. It wasn't as tight as this, but I was having full fists. I was starting to kind of do that, try to kind of bring back the mobility and stretch a little bit. I was also your arm is gonna be like slightly bent, and you're gonna need to kind of get this straight, you know, mobility back. You're gonna need to work on stretching your arm straight, and your wrists. Um, so that was something that I was working on. Um, yeah, and 2 weeks after you leave the hospital, you're gonna need to remove your staples from your arms by your local nurse, and it's gonna be a bit painful. Take painkillers before you go, like half an hour before you go. It will help. It's not really super painful. It's just it's the anticipation of getting each one out. I think that's the problem. It's kind of like it's a slightly painful, but it's not really the end of the world. I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's just the anticipation, I think, of getting each one out. But pretty much after you take your staples out, that is going to be your life is going to be a lot better. Like you're going to sit down a lot more comfortably. You're going to actually sit right for the first time, like butt straight on, because that's something that I wasn't able to do for a long time because of the staples. Um, Taking care of your butt scars, however, was really horrible for me, really, really horrible, because that's something that I had to do myself, and I had to ask, my partner's help because it was hard. And basically, the nurse's recommendation is when you shower, don't you're gonna have two massive like bandages on your scars, and they're gonna get wet. I mean, they say it's waterproof, but it's not. It's gonna get wet. And what the nurse said, don't dry it, because when you dry it, you increase the risk of having an infection. So don't dry it. Just leave it dry naturally. You take the wet bandage off and you leave it dry naturally, and then you put another one on. It's pretty hard taking them off if you have hair down there, because that was like you know a waxing session for me every couple of days. It was really hard, really, really hard, like really a waxing session every couple of days. So if you're hairy there, anticipate some pain. Um, yeah, you're gonna take care of your groin as well. You're going to have you're gonna have loads of bandages to, like, when you shower, obviously, and throw away the bandages. You're gonna position again in this 45 degree, and it's hard to position in 45 degree and stay there. And you're gonna need to use like stickers and stuff, but you're gonna deal with it. That's fine. You're gonna deal with all that. And yeah, 2 weeks after you leave the hospital, you're gonna have your stent also removed, and that's painful. Yeah, that's painful. Um, Actually, no, that wasn't painful. Or was it painful? Oh, I can't remember that one. Hmm. No, I don't. Can't remember. You're just gonna have to wait and see because I can't remember. Um, yeah, and that was it. So my first stage was basically taking a graft off my arm, put it down there. I didn't have any other connections, no pipe connections, nothing else whatsoever. Like, I mean, nothing else whatsoever, because I know some other surgeons do, like, to do two things at once. They do some other things with the first surgery, but I had nothing else connected. That was just my first surgery. Um, Nothing else removed or anything like that. In terms of my arm now, so this is what it looks like. It's pretty dark, and that's because I've got like pigmentation. I was told I've got pigmentation. Um, it's I was told that I can get a laser treatment, but they said like it's gonna come back in a few years, and I was like, what's the point then? There's a cream that I can have, but um it will come back once I stop the cream, and I was like, what's the point? I don't really want to be on another medicine for the rest of my life. Testosterone is enough. Um, so yeah, and this is not normal, because I've seen loads of graphs online, and they look like they look pretty much the same skin tone of your arm. It's just mine for some reason, and maybe I actually have a clue why it looks like this. You're advised to put like a silicone sheet on your arm for the first couple of months, and I didn't do that. Mine was small. I couldn't get a big size for my arm, and I was only able to get small size, and it was just pretty useless. I was just like, you're useless, and I just didn't do it. You're meant to moisturize a lot, and I did not do this for a very long time. Like a very, very long time, I didn't moisturize. Also, you're advised that for the first year or two at least, you should wear a sleeve or cover your graft when you go in the sun. But what did I do? I went in the sun pretty much. It was 3 months or 4 months later. I was like right in the sun, like actually right in the sun for hours, exposing my graft to the sun. And grafts are not like normal skin, they don't deal the same way. So this is possibly why the infection didn't take care of it properly, resulted in really dark graft. But overall, it's actually a really good graft. That's what all doctors tell me anyway. It's a really nice looking graft. Aside from the color, it's how it fits. It's nice. Um, and I mean, I've got used to this dark. The color doesn't really bother me anymore. I mean, at the start, I was a little bit self-conscious, but I was like, this is my life. I just gotta do what I gotta do. I'm not the only person in the world with a scar. Scars are pretty common. Um, and I pretty much just didn't give a fuck, to be honest with you. And when you don't give a fuck, people don't give a fuck. I mean, you can get the occasional individual that will stare at you for like a few seconds, but doesn't really hurt. So yeah, I was pretty much out there with my arm. I didn't hide it, not even once. I just, this is my arm, this is what it looks like, and that was it. It was pretty strange for me to look down and see my arm because that was a new view to me, but it's part of me now. I'm pretty used to it. Um, I definitely, like, I've read some things on forums about some trans guys that just started to feel really self-conscious and, never wear like t-shirts and always wear like long sleeve shirts and never go swim anymore because of the scar. And I would really say no one gives a fuck about your scar. Honestly, it's all in your head. If you care about it, honestly, no one gives a fuck. Honestly, just go out and live your life. It's a scar. It's not a big deal. It's just a scar. Um, and when some people ask, not all, but some people ask, and I don't really hide that I'm trans, but sometimes I'm not in the mood to say why I've got the scar. So I would just say I really don't want to talk about it, and people are like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." If I'm in the mood to talk about it, sometimes I make really fun stories. Like there's this one guy that I told that I was diving in the Red Sea, and even though it's pretty rare, but my luck, a big shark attacked me and I ate my arm basically, or bit my arm. And I was like, I fought it and I stabbed it in the eye, and I was rescued, but unfortunately I lost a bit of my arm and I had to get grafts on it and stuff to make it work. And he was pretty convinced, he was actually pretty convinced. So you can have fun even with it. It doesn't all have to be so serious. Um, in terms of the strength of the arm, so right as I mentioned earlier, uh, my arm is pretty like normal. There's not really a lot of difference between the two of them. The two of them are, like, they're pretty much, like I show you, have the same flexibility. You know, there's nothing there's nothing really different about them. They both look the same. They have the same strength now. They didn't have the same strength before, but I just used so pretty much I would say maybe 10 weeks after my surgery, I started to work out on my arm, and I started to lift weights. I didn't go with super heavy weights, but I went with slightly light weights and just started to build, my forearm strength again. Because you don't use your arm for like nearly 3 months or 2 months. So that's quite a long time for your muscles to kind of lose mass. So I started to build the muscle in my biceps, triceps, forearm, and wrist, and your wrist kind of strength as well, and your grip, because your grip is gonna give away a little bit, and you gotta bring this back. So you're gonna need to train your arm a little bit. And to be honest with you, it took me like a month to get back to normal. I think it was maybe a month, two max. It was pretty cool. It was pretty fast. In terms of flexibility, again, I was always stretching and working on mobility of my arm. I was giving it a good portion of time a day to eventually make it match with the other one. So right now they're pretty much the same. Again, on forums, I've read that some people give up on their hobbies like bouldering and stuff because their arms and hands just too weak. I would say that is not true. If you work on it as soon as you can, like as soon as you're able, if you work on your mobility, stretch and strengthen every single muscle in your arm, like your grip, your forearm, your biceps, your triceps, and just keep working on it and keep stretching, you're gonna get there. You're honestly gonna get there. If you're gonna leave it for a long time, just like my skin, I left my skin for a long time, and now it's darker and it's really dry all the time, and I have to moisturize it all the time because I neglected it at the start. Um, so it's pretty much like that. If you leave it for a long time, it's not gonna recover as fast as it should have. So just start doing exercises. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. And what I want you to take from this is that when you try to choose a technique or a graph site, you ask your doctors as many questions as you can. Investigate about size, sensations, and everything, and see what is it. Write down what is it that you want. Do you want a big size, not really suitable for penetration, or do you want something that is average and normal? Just write down what you want and discuss with your doctors. I didn't do that. I pretty much didn't have questions to ask, and that was my problem. The second one is take a lot of fruit, like really a lot of juicy fruit. Take a coat and a stretchy trouser. Um, and yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all. I'll try to post some photo. If I figure out how to put photos and videos, I'm gonna put a photo of my arm when it was eaten up, and it looked really horrible. I'm not sure if you want to see that, but I'll see if I can put it on anyway, just so you have an idea what happened. But yeah, thanks for listening. I hope that was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please do get in touch. I will try to answer your questions if I can. And yeah, that's it. Bye.